Hello and welcome to Memory Bank. This is the podcast where I ask my friends about the past and the future. We're moving on to episode 8. And today I have with me another friend. His name is John. How you doing, John?
I'm doing fine and dandy. How are you, Ozzy?
Doing very well. So, um, you, what you just told me before I started hitting the record button is that you've actually kept up with all these episodes.
Yep, I've been watching your podcast since day one, since you ever posted it in one of our Discord chats.
And I'm honored to hear that. How does it feel to be like on an episode now?
Um, I won't lie, it's pretty bizarre because I feel like I was expecting this, but I also wasn't expecting this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I also, in the event that I was going to be on this, not trying to sound like I'm egotistic or anything, but
Yeah.
in the event I was on this, I was literally preparing for like all the questions on your other podcast. I prepared for if Ozzy asked me these questions, how would I answer them back?
Oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
And believe it or not, it was I've kind of sort of been on a podcast before, but it wasn't a real podcast. It was more of a mock podcast that I did.
Oh, okay. So you have a little bit of experience on your belt.
Yeah, a tiny bit, yeah.
All right. Well,
'Cause, my first one was in high school, with my friend Matt, and then I did another one also with Matt in college. And when I was in college, we ended up getting the longest mock podcast. So yeah, that's a bit of
wow.
info. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, then no need to do anything, like no need to explain this. Then I can hop right into this. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm gonna bounce you up to your future first. We're gonna talk about a bit about your future, and
Okay.
so for you, for context, I feel like every single time a person thinks about their future, there's always like little bits and blips that they can easily see struggling with. It can be literally anything. It could be something maybe like emotionally or in their relationships or maybe even financially. So, for this question, I wanted to ask you, what's something that you think you would struggle with in the future? What is like your biggest struggle that you think you'll come across?
Well, funny enough, I was actually going over this with my friend not the other day. Yes, sorry, not yesterday either. Today actually. Where we were discussing what would you think would be difficult for you in the future, and he said, "Oh, definitely a pension," because I think he told me that pensions are very hard to get a hold of, and I'm not sure if you guys actually have it in America. You probably do, but wait, do you have pensions in America?
Yeah, yeah, pensions are in America.
Yeah, and he told me that very hard to get a hold of apparently, and I think it's a good thing because I think both my parents they're both retired now and they have pensions. I won't say how much they make for privacy reasons,
Yeah.
but I think my mum sort of struggled to get a pension as well. I'm not too sure, but he did mention that pensions, rhyme, are very hard to get a hold of. So yeah, I think
Okay.
that's probably one thing that would be difficult for me in the future if I ever retire.
Yeah, something that
And
surprises me about that answer is that you're not you think you got like is this like a bigger one of your struggles or is this just one of many?
I'd say one of many for my future.
Okay, because yeah,
I
you're
wouldn't
you're
say
already thinking about the retirement like that's a good answer because it feels like it sounds like you're confident about everything else that might come in your way throughout your adulthood. But of course, there's other struggles that you got to worry about. But
I mean, I'm not even sure what job I want to have for the future, but yeah, it's never too late to prepare, you know.
yeah, well, I mean, it'd be funny enough if I don't know how long YouTube would last, but if you ever find this video in like like 50 plus years, you could be like, I have my pension. you know,
Yeah,
just sitting
I'd
there
be
with your,
like,
you're just sitting
I
there with
swear
your,
the good old days.
yeah, those were the old days. What's always been weird to me is whenever I talk about this and whenever I make more and more episodes about this, I always feel like, what if I showed what if I showed like like children this or like my children or like friends show their children and that'd be kind of weird. Or you in your case showing your grandchildren like, yeah, I was worried to get a pension and that kind of stuff is like weird to think about.
Indeed.
So, but so getting a pension is a big struggle of yours. So, do you know why the process is really really difficult for you? or why
Not
your friend has said why it's really difficult?
not exactly. He just told me today exactly. As of now, it's Friday when we're recording this.
Yeah.
Um, he told me apparently they're hard to get a hold of. I'm not sure what the reason is, but I can imagine they are since I think my mum mentioned a few difficulties, but again, I won't go too much detail like that because
Yeah.
privacy reasons.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I'm trying to think about it. Like dude, don't get me started on like trying to get a hold of people. Trying to get a hold of like companies and like just things in general. It's been a big pain, especially for me in this week. But like I completely understand the idea. I feel like that that is a pretty good struggle to have just for the sake of like it's just something that other people need to pick up on because let me tell you, I think customer service is really terrible. Usually customer service should be like, there and ready. I don't know. I'm assuming you guys like have customer service for stuff that you guys like break and stuff or like maybe something at like a grocery store or something like if you buy the wrong thing.
Yeah, we definitely have customer service. I think at a shop that's not too far from me, they have a desk for customer service. So I
Mhm.
guess if you have any problems or something like that, you can just go to them.
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like just getting a hold of people is definitely just a really tough thing to do just in general because of the fact that like when you do get a hold of them, what if they give you the answer you don't like?
It almost reminds me of that one gag from South Park where they're asked. It's like for the Oculus Rift episode. I haven't seen much of South Park. I've only seen a few
Neither have
clips,
I.
but there's like one where to do with the Oculus Rift, and then as soon as it picks up, it's like, "Hello, customer service. This is Steve," and he gives like, and I think it's somewhat decent advice. But first, before he says, so the line goes like this. He goes, "Hello, customer service. This is Steve. Hello, I'm looking for Oculus customer service. Oh, hang on then. Hello, Oculus customer service. This is Steve."
Yeah, I feel like that is kind of true. It does send you in a circle. That's crazy. I can't believe that I now just have a South Park quote and reference in my podcast now. That's funny to think about.
I may make a lot of references, so you better be ready.
Listen, as I don't think that it'll be a problem to me. I just think that I guess I'm just learning more references because I don't watch a lot of South Park. I think, funny enough, I think my mom has watched more South Park than I have watched South Park.
I haven't even watched any much South Park either. I think I've only seen a few episodes, maybe one or two, but
I guess most of them
literally,
have just been
I
clips and
guess not.
stuff.
Yeah, a
Okay.
few of them actually.
So, yeah. And as you know, I also like to answer these questions. So, I actually haven't put too much thought into this question now that I'm thinking about it. But, I think my biggest struggle is probably going to come in the form of like, I would say like business, like a workplace. I feel like I'm gonna struggle in like not like doing my work. I feel like I can do my work, but like I should say relationships in the workplace because it feels
Oh,
it feels a little. I don't want to be gossiped about. Of course, I don't think anyone wants to be gossiped about. They always have that worry going on. But at the
understandable.
but at the same time, I enjoy talking to people, and I want to talk to people usually just on a friendly, calm term levels, like we're doing right now. And so whenever so and I'm going into like a business that's like fairly professional and stuff like that, which is why I kind of want to tone it down a bit and try and go into like something a bit more entertaining or something a bit more like, lax than something super strict and tied up with money. So
Yeah,
but
I
because
understand.
because my issue would be like, I don't think I can sit there in a professional like way and just speak with all these formalities. Like I can be pretty formal. I enjoy dressing up formal. I have like a formal style. It's just when it comes to talking to people though, I kind of have like the same habit as like my dad where it's just like we like to, like just talk about literally anything and just try and make conversation and just try and make friends with everybody we try and talk to. So and you don't really get that in the workplace. Like you can make friends in the workplace. You have work friends, but like it's a little weird. I feel like I'm gonna struggle trying to like understand balancing work and life for this pure sake of like like these people at work. While I can make friends with them, maybe that's not their goal. Their goal is to get their work done. So it's gonna be a lot harder for me to make friends.
Yeah, I totally understand that because I'm still debating what job I want to do. But after reading like a bunch of manga, which I read, I think it's only fairly recently where I discovered I kind of want to live a simple life. I have a lot of money, if you know.
Yeah, that's fair, man. Sometimes people overthink a lot of things. Hell, I've been known to overthink a lot of things. I skip a few steps and all this, like so yeah, just that makes a lot of sense. And so yeah,
Then again, I still don't know what I'm gonna do, so I don't want to sound like I want to have a job that's purely money based
yeah,
because I don't want people to think of me as like money, money, money constantly. But because I also want to enjoy life, and like chill with people.
yeah. I I can respect that. I feel like life isn't all because I can understand the workaholics in the sense that they enjoy the work, they enjoy what they do. That's what you want to do. Go you, but for me, I don't want to be stuck up working in something like I'm either A, not going to like, or B, something that I love that then turns into a job that I won't like. I want something that's like a bit of a hobby or something that I enjoy doing, but not like on like a level where if I keep doing it, it's going to start burning myself out. I still want to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, I'm the
So,
same. Like
yeah.
if you want to have a job that you like, but you also gets you profit at the end of the day.
Yeah. It's completely understandable. I think that's completely normal, and I think that's just kind of ideally what everybody wants. It's just whether or not people take the right path and direction and choices to get into that place because it can be pretty hard. We can't really like give ourselves like the undefined like we can't just say, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that job. Like that's a good mindset, but like it's gonna be really hard to get yourself into like the job that is perfect for you. It's like it's really hard to find people who love what they do like that. And so I'm hoping I can be one of the lucky people that ends up like liking what I'm choosing here because I already have an idea of what I would like to do. It's just a matter of getting there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So with all that, it's just kind of how it is. So yeah, business is definitely hard, but it's something that I enjoy. But like I said, not on like a major scale where it would become a pain. And so yeah, so yeah, for you it's the pension, and for me it's workplace relationships. I feel like these are actually so. Every single time I get a new guest on, I'm always surprised by at least one or both of their answers. And I didn't expect the pension, but that is like a very valuable like viable reason to be like worried or struggling with it. You want the money when you retire, or else like what like you literally can't work. You're a little bit old to be like in the workplace. I'm actually surprised by like certain like people who are very very like old, like they should be retired, that keep going, but it's like it's not I feel like it's because they have to, and it's really sad to see sometimes because it's like especially during the later ages of your life you want to like be resting or doing what you do, travel, whatever,
Yeah.
not stuck in a Walmart. But yeah, okay. So with that, let us move on to the past, if that's okay with you, or is there any last things you want to add to the future?
Yeah, actually, I
Uh,
think to
yeah.
add to what I find difficult for my future is probably, I think a very obvious one is, like I mentioned before, finding a job. Because, like I said, I still don't know what job I want to get into,
Mm-hmm.
but as long as I enjoy it, but like as you said, not enjoy it too much to the point where like it burns you out to, for your future. So yeah, job for people, eh, a job would probably be a, a good a good-ish one for what would be difficult for me to achieve in my future.
All right. Do you think you'll be able to overcome it? You think you'll be able to overcome these two struggles?
I think so, if I work hard enough.
Okay. And you're feeling pretty determined right now?
So far, yeah, because
Yeah.
no, I'm going to mention this.
Mm-hmm.
Despite me being a lazy person, I respect people who work hard,
Yeah.
and I guess for me it's kind of like a switch. Like when you want to do work, it switches on. You work hard. You work your entire backside off, and to get it done. Because I did that once, like for an assignment, which we may get into later,
Mm-hmm.
and I, I don't know how late it was for me to finish it. But I would literally hop into to my dad's computer, get on the assignment, work as much of it as I can. Then when I feel like I'm done, save it, get off. And yeah, that's an example of me having a switch on, switch off workaholic mode.
Huh. Yeah, I get those switches too. I find myself being the very big workaholic. Like you'll find me on some days doing nothing but like work, 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 whether it be schoolwork or chores around the house, or like even sometimes I'll have enough energy to like even work out, which I barely ever do. Um, and then you'll find me having some days like what I'm doing right now, just sitting and talking to. I mean, talking to friends. I wouldn't say is like nothing, but like it's a lazy because I'm sitting in my chair still. I'm not really like doing anything productive while I'm talking to my friends. I'm like, you know, doing my thing, just sitting, and especially yeah, days like these. Like let me tell you, these last 2 weeks have been crazy for me because and I'll get into that when we blast ourselves into the past because if you don't mind, when we're done with your answer, I have a bit of a rant.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool.
I
That's
think you're
cool.
a very interesting person to talk to, Ozzy.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. I'm humbled.
No problem.
But yeah, all right. I liked that though. I like that. Those are I think we all have very like life big things. I'm curious on other people's answers, but like you mentioned before, like at the very start, I really like how you take the questions that I ask and not only listen to me and our guests' answers, but like answer it yourself because I feel like you can realize something that you haven't before or like maybe you clarify it, you know? Because sometimes when I ask these questions, I don't really realize the impact that it could have when somebody like remembers or like can like reflect on something or maybe even predict something, like something they haven't thought about. It's great. But with that, I'm gonna blast us to the past now. This is we're done with the future here. I'm gonna take us to the past now officially. And with that past, the context for this is I feel like every single time, whether no matter what age you are, some people can get a little lost. Now, lost can even mean literally, like you literally get lost, or you could like, um, I I guess like internally get lost. Some people take it both ways, where it's like they don't know where they're at in their life, or the midlife crisis, I would call it and what people would call it, where they just don't know what they want to do and they feel lost. So you could either feel lost or literally be lost. But what I want to ask you is a bit more of a general statement, and I want you to tell me just a time. It doesn't have to be the most recent time, but a time where you got lost. When's the time you got lost?
Boy, have I got a story. I'm not sure how long this will be because
You got time.
again, I was very young when this happened. So years ago, when I was probably around 4, 5, 6, I was at this shop. At the like, it was the same one I talked about earlier, where there's a shop that's not too far from me. And when I was in that shop, I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but I was lost in said shop,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I started having a panic attack around it. Now this was long before I was
Oh no.
diagnosed with this was long before I was diagnosed with autism. So
Uh huh.
um I started panicking a lot. I think I even started. It was only a little bit of crying, but I don't think people noticed because I think realizing it now, I was probably very good at holding my emotions and not explaining bad stuff that happened to me because I didn't understand most stuff when I was young, like most people would. So yeah, I was lost. I kept running around looking for my parents. I think at one point I heard my mom call out my name, and then I went to that sound, and I think at some point when I was running past an aisle, I saw my mum, but as I went past, I ran back again, and I saw they weren't there.
No, that's
And
terrifying.
so, yeah, especially for like
Yeah,
young
for a
old,
child. Yeah.
li- for a little young Johnny boy there.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how long I was lost for, how long I was running around, but eventually one of the shop employees, he came to me and then he said, come on, let's help you find your mummy. And he took my hand, and then I saw my mum and my dad, and I'm not sure my brother was there. And like I saw them there, he took me to them, and I think I was probably berated a little bit, like, as which is probably like a logical thing to do for a parent to do to their child when they get lost,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a parent's duty to protect their child, and I probably gave them so many panic attacks from being lost. But yeah, I'm back now. My mum's all good. I
Oh,
think
you
everything.
made it back. I'm glad.
Yeah, I
I'm
made it.
glad. Yeah, I'm glad you made it back because I don't think you'd be here if you made it back.
Yeah. Imagine in an alternate universe where I did make it back. I'd probably be trapped in the shop, just I
I,
don't know, eating like
you,
all the foods there.
okay, okay. Here's the thing. If you were in an alternate universe where you didn't make it back, there's one of two options I could see. There's either, or actually three options. There's A, uh, the people call your parents, and then you make it back just a lot later. Um, B, they call your parents, they don't respond, and all of a sudden you're ending up an orphan.
Oh God.
Or C, you just I don't know, you have like a you just find a way to die. I don't know.
Oh God.
But hey,
I'm a child as well.
let's look at it like this though. Little you, little Johnny boy, and his loving and caring family found you and reunited, and we're good now. You know? We don't have to look at the other options, okay? We don't have to worry about what I just told you.
That's other me's problem.
Other you, other alternate dimension you that is
Yeah.
dead right now.
I mean,
and
you might not be dead. You might be like one of those urban. I don't know how to put it, but like one of those crazy people who are like, I've been lost 7 years in the desert. I don't know where I was. It's so
yes. I've where were
and
you lost at? Where were you lost at? What's the
I don't know.
store? Do you know?
It was it's a shop. I think that's only in Britain, but it's called Tesco.
Okay. For the last 7 years, I've been stopped in Tesco's. They call me the
What?
Tesco thief because I only live off of Tesco products. It's the only place I know now. It's my new home. That's what I'm picturing when you say it like that. Instead of being lost 7 years in the desert, you're lost 7 years and you're just at Tesco's. They just see you as like the there's the Tesco guy again.
You pulled off that British voice so well in the beginning.
I don't even think I was going for a British voice. I was just going for like a narrator voice, or like
Like
the
David
or
Attenborough.
like a yeah like a survivor's voice, you know. Uh, but
I probably wouldn't be able to speak well like you just did then, because apparently, according to my mother, I wasn't able to speak clearly until I was older.
I don't think younger me could like go down like that either. You know, like with the voice, I don't think I could do that when I was younger either. I had a fairly high pitched voice.
Same as well.
Well, we were young. Like what? Of course, we're gonna have higher pitched voices.
In high pitched voices, then suddenly we get deep,
Yeah,
movie
yeah, and
voices.
then suddenly you become a you know the narrator for like an action movie and like the
Like soon,
2000s. Yeah,
the
exactly.
Tesco thief.
Yeah, Tesco thief. So, but what I want to talk about though is okay. Listen, John, you're gonna have to bear with me because the last time I got lost, and the reason why I'm bringing this question up is I kind of rigged it. I'm gonna be honest. I did. I didn't have many Let me tell you guys. All right, when I make these episodes, I don't have like a lot of questions on my mind. It's easy to come up with the past questions. I will tell you that right now. It is so much easier to come up with the past questions in comparison to the future questions. And oh boy, when I mean the past of when I got lost, I'm talking literally like half a week ago. We just went to Little Johnny Boy Lost at Tesco's to literally a 19-year-old grown ass, you know, college student getting lost in a city. So,
I mean, it's still the past.
oh yeah, that's why I'm still going to talk about it. Trust me, I'm still going to rant about it like it is in the past because it is. So, and that's the glorious thing about the past and why it's so much easier to ask past questions. Is like you could literally like recall something from like you could even say it now, like present now, because then it would technically still be in the past when I upload it, a few days later or a few hours later. Like that's the crazy thing. But
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna
This
go
happened to me 30 seconds in the past.
exactly. But this happened to me like half a week ago. So here's a little bit of a rant. My phone is broken right now, and um my screen keeps like flickering, keeps glitching, and it's awful. I've been so annoyed by it, and it got to a point where it just kept getting worse. And I had a scheduled date to like try and go out and see if I can get this repaired. But before that date even came, um it started freezing, and it started just constantly restarting itself when it froze. So I literally couldn't use my phone. So I asked my roommate to try and take me to this Best Buy that's nearby. It's like a 10-minute drive. He takes me there because I need a GPS now. I don't have anybody to guide me around, you know. And when we get to the Best Buy, my roommate goes, like, oh, is it cool if I head back? Or do you need me to head back? I'm like, no, I'll remember the direction. I'll be fine. He said, okay, cool, bye. That was the worst mistake of my life. But because when I went in there, I went to the Best Buy Geek Squad. I don't know if you guys have Best Buy in Britain.
I don't think so.
Best Buy is just
Um,
is like a electronics company. Buy they like you buy like computers, consoles, TVs, phones. It's literally just an electronics store.
I don't think we have a Best Buy, but I think we have something similar called PC World.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. And I would go to their like repair service. And when I went to their repair service, they're like, "Uh, you have an Android?" They look I for con- and I have an Android. All right, listen guys, to everyone watching, not just you, John. What why do you have to shit on me for having an Android? Why do you guys shit on me for having it? I get it. I get it. The jokes about an Android and all that, but like, don't come after me for it, man. I just grew up with Android. I love it. It's just something I use, but like, I've been shit on so many times for having an Android,
I mean,
and
yeah, whatever works for you is it's
oh,
best
oh
because
yeah, yeah, we
the
have,
reason I chose an iPhone is because it was like a mini iPad for me, and I don't think I could interface with like a Samsung or anything. Again, I'm not
yeah.
shitting on any people with Samsungs, but I just chose the iPhone because it's easier for me.
But the
And
thing,
like with you,
yeah.
Android's easier with you.
Oh yeah, yeah, but the thing is, it's like when I say shit on, don't nobody take this like too heavily. It's like a joke thing, you know. But it's like, come on, man, I get it. I know. I just like it. My bad. And so they look at it and they're like, oh shit, no, we only do Apple products. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, my friend just drove me to a Best Buy that can't even help me. And they're like, oh, but the Best Buy on this street could help. And I'm like, well, shit, I gotta go find them. And so this is the story of how I got lost. Because I no longer have my GPS with me. My roommate's already back at the dorm, and I didn't want to call him out and be like, could you drive me to the Best Buy, please, please. So so I just get in my car and I'm like, fuck it. I know where this road is. I'm just gonna go drive down it, and I'm just gonna see if I can see it. John, I okay. So first of all, this road that I'm talking about is really long. It is a very long road. It is like a popular road where on left and right it's just shops all over the place. And it just keeps going down and down. It's like maybe like if you were to drive all the way down this road and all the way back up to the top of that road, it'd probably take you like an hour or like two, right? So I'm driving down this road and I'm at the middle, like where because I have to like take a left or a right. It's like a 50-50. It's like a choose your own choice. I have no GPS. I say screw it. I turn left and I just start driving down the road. And like 15 minutes later, I'm not seeing the Best Buy. And I'm like, uh-oh. Uh-oh, it's probably the other way. I probably should have turned I chose wrong. I should have turned right. And so I do a U-E. And I start driving back up the road. And while I'm driving back up the road, I'm doing like a secondary scan, making sure I didn't skip the Best Buy. And while I'm doing it, I'm like, I know there's a Walmart on this road. I'm gonna go to the Walmart and see if I can find this Best Buy. So I go to pull up into Walmart. I literally go to customer service, and the guy Let me tell you, Walmart people are funny because they always look like they're just done with their work. Like they hate it. And I just walk up to the guy. He was really chill though, and he's just like, "What do you want?" And I'm like, or he wasn't like, "What do you want?" But he was like, "What can I help you with?" And I'm like, I, I could you just pull out your phone and just direct me to the Best Buy on this road? And he's like, and he gives me like a slightly weird look. And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And he shows me the direction. John, I was going the right way. I was going the right way, John.
Oh,
I was going the right way
wow.
originally, and actually, I was like 5 minutes away from the Best Buy before I did my UE. It was like I just had to drive down like 5 more minutes, and
What's a Yui?
a UE's like a U turn,
Oh, okay.
and so I'm like sitting there like it. I gave him a smile and I said thank you, but in my mind I'm like fucking ooh, I have to go back down that road. So I pull another UE and I go back down the road. And I finally find the Best Buy. It's the safe haven, right? And I'm like, yes, finally. I walk into the Best Buy. I go to their Geek Squad Samsung department, and they couldn't help me.
Oh my god. The most anticlimactic adventure ever.
They couldn't help me. And it's like 6 o'clock at night. It's like 6:30 when I got there in the evening, I should say. And I'm like tearing my hair out when they said they couldn't. And then they said, "Oh, but we can suggest you this store. You know, this is why I got lost. It's because I went on a wild goose chase. It's a wild goose chase of store to store to store, trying to like fix up all this stuff, right? And they suggest me a completely new store, and they didn't even give me the directions. I said my phone was broken, man, and they just said, "Oh yeah, go to the store," and then they just walked away from me. Like I don't know where it is.
Instead of Best Buy, it was Best Goodbye.
Yeah, it was goodbye. So so I walk up to another Best Buy employee like at the exit, and I'm like, "Hey, can you whip out your phone?" It's just the whole same conversation. Like, can you get out your phone and tell me where the nearest place is? Long story short, um, the store was closed
Oh,
on that day at 7. So I just went home having just newfound information. And
that was not your day, was it?
no, this entire week hasn't been my week, John. But
I've had those weeks where it just wasn't your week, and then you just
it
break down as soon as it's Friday.
what do you think I'm doing right now on this podcast, John?
Oh my god, I
what do
didn't
you
realize how coincidental that was.
what do you think I'm doing right now, John? When I say that I am ranting to you.
I guess getting your frustrations out.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, in comparison to little Johnny stuck at Tesco's, I've also had those stories, but like just with how recent everything's been, I've just lost my mind. And I'm going to tell you right now, John, as an update, the people that were supposed to fix my phone did replace some parts, but like my phone's still broken. Like it didn't fix the main issue. I just sent my phone in the mail, and I now have to wait like 2 weeks to get it back. If this doesn't
Oh,
fix my,
geez.
luckily this is free. This is why I'm doing it. It's free. But if this doesn't fix my phone, I'm just buying a new phone. I have to buy a new phone because I can't deal with this anymore. This entire week has just been a where the hell do I fix my phone? And it's been getting, and I'm lost. But you know, it's just that's that story.
This kind of reminds me of something that happened in high school with me because my friend he had like an old iPhone 5 SC, I believe,
Yeah.
and now before it was completely screwed. The screen was popping out because the battery had expanded, and then
Oh.
eventually, in the future, somewhere in the distant future, you can't see it, but I waved my heart arms as I was doing that. Um, the screen was completely kaput. Like as soon as you turn it on, it was just like a bunch of grey lines going down,
Ah.
like it was painted to look like a glitch screen. And then he decided he knew he was going to get a new phone, so he just decided that he decided to just rip the screen off for some reason.
Okay.
I don't know why. I mean, all your stuff's on there. Like, why would you do that?
You see this, John? This thing's kaput. And just destroys it. Okay, he's from the mafia. That's what I got. He's just from a mafia. I don't know what
It
mafia.
was it was still the guy who mentioned I was talking about the pension with earlier. It was Matt who did it. He just ripped the screen off, and then I think another thing as well, to add more to this,
Yeah.
when I was going on holiday one time, I decided to shoot him a text because I got to, my dad paid for a VIP lounge at the airport, and I decided to shoot him a text with the food I got. And then when I sent it, it said, this message cannot be sent. And I realized, oh yeah, his phone is screwed.
Well, you, John, my friend, have now broken the record of longest podcast episode ran so far. It has been 8 episodes, but we've been running like six
Yeah.
minutes past. So, it's
Well,
been
like
a
you
it's
went
been
around a lot.
it's been a pleasure talking to you. I will say this because I don't talk to you too often. Like there's a few words exchanged here and there, but I definitely wanted to try and get you on because I feel like
Yeah.
getting to know you a little bit better is nice, and now I feel like this has just been a great conversation. And
Yeah,
thank you,
same here.
and thank you, and you know what? Thank you for listening. I think I ranted for like most of this half, but and sorry to steal any limelight that you had or needed.
It's it's fine. I generally like listen to other people's stories.
Well, then there you go. So it works out for the both of us. But I will give you the limelight, and because you know that at the end of every episode, I like to have you say a message to just anybody in general or everybody, and then a message to your future self. So let her go.
Yeah, I actually wrote this down, to be
Oh,
honest.
he wrote it. He came prepared. Nice.
Yep. So, to the people watching this podcast, anyone in general, all I have to say to you is work hard in life to achieve your dreams. And no matter what anyone says, don't let them stop you from achieving those dreams, no matter how old you get. Because just remember, in the words of Stan Bush, you got the touch. You got the power.
I
And another
love
thing,
that.
on the topic of Stanbush, like Optimus Prime once said, every sentient being has the capacity for change. And to add my own words to that, don't be afraid of change.
Okay.
And to the don't be afraid of change part, I say to my future self, if you ever watch this, when you're like, I don't know, 35, I guess.
Okay. 35, John, listen up. Specifically 35. 34, John, you're good. But 35, John, listen. What is it?
Uh, don't be afraid of change.
Don't be afraid of change. Okay. Perfect. Thank you to everybody who has listened to this so far. Yeah, you definitely got the longest running episode. Oh my God, we're almost 8 minutes
Yeah,
over.
oh my God.
All right. Bye
Yep.
bye.
See ya.